I got a microphone and I kind of redid my setup. I got a chair, it's a cluck chair, if you know what I'm saying, right? If anybody follows me on TikTok, you guys know that I was looking for a chair this weekend, and also I found this weekend too. And she's really cool. We're friends. I wonder if she has anything to say. Hold on. Did you guys get that? I will actually cry if when I'm editing, if there's like a noise or something, like if she said something, I'll be moving. Anyway, so I wanted to make another video just about a few things, just touching on my last video. Hi, I'm Nikki. I create size queen content on certain platforms. I'm a small creator. I don't really have that big of a following, but I love to give advice, and I also love to get advice. So if anybody has anything, like any questions, comments, concern, anything like that, go ahead and just feel free to reach out. I had a few people, actually I had a few couples reach out after my last video, and they were talking about how one person said something like, "You help level up my wife," or something like that. I just think I like to hear about that. I like to hear success stories or not success stories. If what I say did not work for you, I did have somebody message me about they have like a inverted uterus. I'm not a doctor, and I can only speak on like what has worked for me and like what I've heard from other people, but I will try to help as best as I can. And I really like to hear the stories, success stories, or anything like that. Anything you guys have to throw my way, go ahead, feel free. So there were a few questions I got, and I've actually recorded this video. This is going to be the third time that I'm recording it because I just really could not figure out exactly what I wanted to talk about, but I think I have a plan now. So I had people ask me about how to get into creating content like this, and I had started a whole video about the beginnings of making OnlyFans and making your social medias and etc. And I actually decided against that. I'm going to link the videos that I have used. I'm going to link those in the description. So I used like Alana Cole is a YouTuber that I watched a lot of. There's another girl that I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but she's amazing. I'm just going to link those videos because I'm not going to tell you anything that they haven't already said, and I don't want to regurgitate information. I'm only going to speak specifically on making size queen content. So like the type of content that I make, I'll be referencing creators who make content like how I make content. So I'm going to link those videos down below, and please check them out before watching this one, because that's going to be like your platform for everything, is watching those videos, following what they say, and then coming back to see what I have to say about a specific niche, because I do truly feel like there is so much information out there on how to successfully make an OnlyFans, but a lot of people just don't really touch on their niche a ton, like how to be successful in this niche. And I know there's a certain level of, nothing against creators, but there's a certain level of gatekeeping. So I don't want to gatekeep. I think that even though the market is oversaturated, I don't think it's oversaturated to the point where we need to keep information to ourselves. There are really only a select few like successful and good quality creators for each niche. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not trying to go for the girl next door teasing through the window type thing. It's hard to find quality creators. So I don't think gatekeeping is necessary, especially in this niche. Anyway, so I'm going to touch on two things in my video. If I can figure out how, I'll try to put timestamps. I'll at least put timestamps in the description. So the first thing I'm going to touch on is girth, because my last video I talked about the posterior fornix and length way more than I talked about girth. So I'm going to touch on very briefly what I do to take more girth, and then I'm going to touch on what I did to start in this niche and what I would suggest in this niche. So let's just get right to it. So for girth, and this is going to be super short, super sweet, super easy with girth, because in my opinion, girth is so much easier than length. And that could just be my body, but believe it or not, I literally could not take more than like 5 or 6 inches as of like 4 months ago. I mean, this was very recent. And I always struggled so much with depth. But girth was never really too much of an issue for me. I've been into, fisting and stuff like that for a while. So the girth was not an issue. And I have had a child, but even before that, I was able to get fisted. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, of course, because I have had a baby, but also I was into, let's see, before I had a baby, I could be fisted. I don't think I had any really big toys, but I could still be fisted. So this is what works for me. For me, might not work for you. You can pretty much look up, like, I don't want to sound weird, but things to help give birth, like perineal massages or perineal. Oh my god, I should have looked this up before this video. Perineal, I don't know. If I fuck that up, I'm just gonna put here these massages. There we go. So you're going to look those up. They help warm up, get your area ready, your perineum, and that will help prevent tearing, because that is something you have to worry about with girth, is tearing. So I personally, before I use like my large flint or my giant plug or anything like that, I usually do these massages because I am worried about tears. It does happen to some people. I've never had a tear, so I do these massages pretty religiously. And also, I stretch for girth pretty religiously too. I don't feel like practicing length is as important as keeping up with girth, because you tighten back up, you know what I mean? Your body already kind of has an internal limit for length, but girth, theoretically, until you hit the size of your pubic bones, you can take it, you know what I mean? So I like to keep up with girth so it doesn't snap back too much. So perineal massages, I'll put it up here. You're going to do those. I just do them for like a few minutes. I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes with lube, of course. Everything needs to be lubed up, lubed up, right? I use KY jelly, water-based. It's what works for me. I use a shit ton of it. I go through probably like 16 ounces a week. So lube it up. And then after your massage, you're going to use a toy. What level are you at? So what toy do you want to use? For some people, it's going to be a normal penis-sized toy. For other people, it's going to be a large flint to warm up. So you're going to warm up with a toy that you can take. You take the whole thing. Take the toy, warm up, get a few O's in, use your vibrator if you want. Vibrators though. I have noticed that it does make me tighten up. So if you're trying to get to a goal, use your vibrator while you warm up and then stop using it towards your goal, if that makes any sense. If I'm trying to take, right now my current record's 11 inches, but if I'm trying to take my 14-inch plug, when I am ready to take it and when I'm ready and warmed up, I'm not going to use my vibe, because it does, for me, it makes me tighten up quite a bit. So keep that in mind. Everybody's different again, but you're going to get nice and warmed up. And then you really don't need to buy like fancy new toys. I'm going to overlay how I set up for like self whole handing. There we go. I'll just use that. So I will overlay how I get set up for self whole handing. And you can also like practice this with a partner, things like that. So you really don't need to go buy every size of toy in the book, You got these guys, you got these fellas, I've even seen some people, which I think is a really good idea, use gloves, because if you feel your fingers, there's hangnails, there's texture, right? Texture can kind of hurt sometimes, but you got this whole thing to use. And then if your hands too easy, or you get through your fingers too fast, whatever it is, you're ready to move on, you can use multiple toys DVP. You don't necessarily need to go out and get a new toy. You can use multiple toys. I've done that plenty of times, DVP with multiple toys and multiple partners. I mean, there are things you can do besides just buying bigger sizes of toys. And then you're gonna remember that you are stretching. So like whenever you stretch your muscles, right? Whenever you're stretching in the gym or something, you're gonna slowly go into it. You're not going to walk into the gym the first day and do the splits because you'll hurt yourself. So it's the same thing here. I mean, one day, the first time you try it, you might use a toy and add a finger, and that's totally okay. It can take months. It took me probably a year until I was like really truly comfortable with my large flint. So it can take a long time. Now, if I could recommend any specific toy for stretching, especially if you're not a novice, like if you're trying to get to a certain point, I will overlay a little image and link it down below. There's a Doc Johnson giant red plug. It is a very hard silicone. Keep that in mind. Almost all Doc Johnson stuff, it's affordable. I'm an affordable girly, okay? I get all of my stuff from thrift stores, affordable, okay? So I think anything that I can get from Amazon with overnight delivery and less than $100 in the cart, babe. So Doc Johnson silicone is very hard, and keep that in mind because the harder silicone is harder to take. But they have this giant plug that is 14 inches at the max circumference. It's amazing. It's great for stretching. It's not great for using. Like, I don't really get any pleasure out of it, but it tapers. It's a plug. So you can start at the smallest point, which is that big. So it's a normal size, and you can slowly work your way down and stretch. If there's any specific toy for stretching that I would recommend, it is absolutely this plug. And like I said, I will link it down below. So you're slowly gonna work at it. It's like working out, it's like working out any muscle group. Your vagina is a muscle and you're gonna have to stretch it. You're going to have to work it. That's just how it is. And it takes time, but also it's fun. Like, have fun with it. It's cool. I like hitting goals. Like, literally after this video, I'm going to try to take that whole 14-inch plug because I think I can take it, and I haven't used it in like 4 months, and the last time I took it I was probably at about 12 inches. So it's fun. It's like, ooh, can I do this? Pushing your body and seeing what you can do. And also, again, I am only speaking for myself, and this is something that I am going to research about a little bit, but I have noticed that my pelvic floor has actually gotten stronger with this. I do Kegels every day, things like that. But I mean, I am 5 years postpartum, but still I don't experience any sort of incontinence or anything like that. And also, you snap back. Like, the other night, it only took maybe 3 or 4 hours after being able to take my flint to where I could barely even take like my medium-sized girthy toy. I couldn't get it in. I had to re-warm up. So you do tighten back up. Partners are not going to be like, wow, you are loose. My partner, actually, I asked him about it specifically, and he said the only times that I ever feel different is immediately after he uses those big toys on me. So if anybody tells you anything like that, they are being silly, because even a normal sized penis, I still have to get warmed up to be able to take. So just to be clear, you are not forever loose. That's not a thing. The vagina will come back. She snaps back. So I think that's really everything that I have to say about girth. Good luck out there, guys. Let me know if you have any further questions about it. And then, so you've watched my past 2 videos. You are good at girth. You're good at length. Good for you. Hell yes. Now you want to get started on OnlyFans or Fansly or whatever. I would recommend OnlyFans and Fansly. Fansly, you can post way more. OnlyFans is okay. I'm going to link all the videos down below that I've used but I kind of more so want to touch on promoting and what type of content to promote. And this is just like what has been working for me. And this is following what I see other content creators do, like Lily June X and Ethereal Fawn, Starry Fawn, post clips of their videos of them actually taking toys, full nudity. And some people don't like to promote full nudity, but I feel like for this niche specifically, promoting full nudity and showing that you can take these toys in small clips, small doses. You don't want to give everything away, but you do want people to know that you can actually take these toys, you know? So that was like the biggest thing I wanted to say about doing a niche like this is the promoting. I take short clips from like my videos and that's what I use to promote with, and I use that on Reddit and X and Blue Sky. Now, for Reddit, I do have to say one thing. If you're using videos to promote, you're going to want to do this. You're going to make a red GIFs and you're going to get verified. So make your red GIFs, get verified. It's the same verification pretty much as like OnlyFans and stuff like that, because not all states allow red GIFs. My state, you have to be verified to use red GIFs. And then once you're verified, you can upload your little clip video that we were talking about and use appropriate tags. So bad dragon, huge dildos, whatever. Use appropriate tags. And then you are going to share that video directly from Reddit to Reddit. You're not going to copy a link or anything like that. That way it pops up as a GIF instead of popping up as a link. That's just what I do. Sometimes if you copy the link, it'll still make the GIF, I don't know. If you copy the link, it'll still make it to where it's viewable on Reddit. Sometimes it doesn't. But if you share it straight from Reddit, I've always been able to just see it as a GIF instead of a link. So that's what I recommend there. So for promoting, you just use clips from your videos. If that's how you want to promote, if that's how you feel comfortable, that's how I promote, and I get decent traction from my videos, and that's how I've seen other similar creators promote. I also use TikTok, Instagram, which obviously are very safe for work. They're pretty censored. So I will link all of my socials at the end of this video, and you can just look through and see what I post. I never really say anything on TikTok or Instagram about like what I do for work. It's just kind of, it's just a TikTok, it's just an Instagram. You don't want to be super obvious about things. So yeah, guys, I think that's all I really have to say about it for now. Like I said, I'll link useful videos down below. And the biggest thing I just wanted to touch on was promoting. And you can use those same clips for the Fansly for You page, things like that. If anybody has any questions about specifically my OnlyFans page or how I run things or Fansly, you can feel free to ask. But again, there are people that are so much better and so much more knowledgeable about it. I literally am about to revamp my page a little bit today because I did some research this weekend and I was like, I should probably change a few things. So yeah, guys, if you have any more questions, just let me know, please. And all of my links are going to be at the end of this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Give me a follow on any of my socials if you'd like. And always feel free to take inspiration from anything that I post. I would be flattered. It's no gatekeeping here, right? Anyway, I love you guys.